Welcome to the news now from the Belmont Journal. I'm your host, Mike Crowley, and we are joined once again by Lisa Gibalerio with the Wayside Youth and Family Support Network, and she's also coordinator of the Belmont Wellness Coalition. So today, many of us are feeling affected by what's happening in Ukraine, including the risk of economic fallout and perhaps worse. It just goes without saying that our children are likely affected somewhat too. Lisa, how should we be coping? How should we be managing our stress about what's going on in Ukraine?
Well, Mike, I think what the experts would tell us is that while it's really important for us to stay informed, it's equally as important that we need to also be limiting our exposure to the news, which is, as we know, a 24-hour news cycle. So get your news maybe in the morning, check in the evening, but do not engage in what they call doom scrolling. Try not to just immerse yourself in it for hours and hours. It just exacerbates whatever stress you're already feeling. Another point that is recommended is just to go back to the basics of whatever self-care works for us to help reduce our stress concerning this situation. So for me, it's taking fresh air walks. For someone else, it might be a bubble bath. It might be talking, with a friend, but do what you can do to take care of yourself.
So how about our children, Lisa? It's difficult to insulate them completely from the news as well as the things that are worrying us. How should we be supporting them?
First and foremost, Mike, we need to be validating them. We need to be, if they come to us with stress, concern, anxiety, we need to say, yes, this is a scary situation. I hear you. I see that you're concerned. I'm concerned too. This concern is very real. And you can also offer, especially to young children, some reassurance. It's perfectly okay to say to young children, look, this is a scary situation. And very smart people are working very, very hard to mitigate what's happening over in the Ukraine. So reassure them that they are safe and that you will continue to ensure that they stay safe.
Let me ask you this, Lisa. For those who want to help with the crisis in Ukraine, is there anything that we can do?
Oh, definitely, Mike. There are many organizations right now that are raising funding that will go directly to support Ukraine. A quick Google search that I did to prepare for our show provided me with three excellent, well-researched sites. One is called globalgiving.org, another is rescue.org, and the third is familiar to many of us, Doctors Without Borders.org. Those three organizations, again, are making sure the money goes to humanitarian relief efforts to help the people living in the Ukraine. However, if that feels a little far removed, it's perfectly acceptable to take your kids aside and say, look, we are very far away from this crisis, but there are people here in Belmont who have been unemployed because of the pandemic, who could use our help. So maybe gather up an extra bag of groceries and donate to the food pantry, or maybe together sit down and find some funding for Belmont Helps, which is doing all sorts of wonderful assistance for people close to home. So enroll your kids in whatever you choose to do, have them be a part of it, even if it's mailing the check with you. But enroll your kids to show that even though it is very far away, we can be of help and we can help those closer to home.
Anything else to say, Lisa?
Yeah, Mike, I would add that while our kids are sometimes looking to us and taking cues from us so that we want to, not freak out in front of our kids, but it's also important for parents to take cues from their kids. And what I mean by that is some kids may not be feeling a ton of anxiety. It just may feel too far away. And developmentally, kids, they're worried about what's going to be, at lunch, what's on the menu at lunch or who they're going to play with at recess. And I just want to tell parents to know that that's perfectly okay. You can check in with your kids, and it's advised to check in with your kids and say to them, okay, that's great that you're not feeling concerned. And if you have questions, come to me and we'll talk about this situation. As I said, for adults to monitor their screen time, if your kids are having their cell phone in their hands, monitor their screen time. Anything that you do for yourself, recommend that they do. So getting a little bit away from the news, getting outside for some fresh air. Keep your structures going, especially with young children. It's very important for them to stay in the routine. Whatever that routine is for your family, try to keep that routine going. So those are, I guess that those are what I would say would hopefully be helpful to families.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. It's great advice on how to get through and respond to this very concerning time. And we will see you next time.
Thank you, Mike.